Ready.
Okay, good. Listen, I'm having a wonderful chat with John Blondell. He is the chair of theater arts department at Westmont College. He is the founder and artistic director of Lit Moon Theater, a wonderful international theater company. And we are talking today about an upcoming production at the New Vic Theater, the fabulous venue I want to speak about here in a bit. Theater arts department at Westmont College is going to do a chamber. I believe we discussed this earlier, John. A chamber kind of version of Johann Strauss II's gigantic gala ballroom dancing huge cast version of Die Fledermaus in the wonderful, really very intimate venue of the New Vic Theater, which is, I guess, been open for maybe a couple, 3 years now. Beautiful space. And so we're going to want to talk all about that production, but let me just throw a couple quick things in. Westmont College Theater Arts Department. Production is Strauss, Die Fledermaus, the Bat. Some say it's the Revenge of the Bat. We'll talk about that one. At the New Vic Theater in downtown Santa Barbara, that's 33 West Victoria Street. Tickets, $17 and $12 for students. Can't beat that one. Students and seniors for $12. That's a deal. Box office number for Ensemble Theater, which is that's the home of the Ensemble Theater. The box office for tickets for Die Fledermaus. Area code 805 for those of you watching outside of the Santa Barbara area, 805-965-5400. Okay, let's go. What on earth made the decision? Who came up with the idea of
Well,
Fledermaus?
yeah, yeah. And first of all, good morning, Dan. It's really
Good
great
morning.
to see and talk to you again. The one of the things that we've been doing at the college for the last several years is we've been doing a number of really great collaborations between the music and theater arts department. This really started in 2013 with Gilbert and Sullivan's Pirates of Penzance, and that became a huge hit. We went to the KCACTF Regional Festival with it in Los Angeles, and we were actually given 3 national awards from the Kennedy Center. And so that really started to kind of both raise the bar of what we're doing and start to, suggest that, well, maybe we're really onto something here. That in these, co-productions between theater and music departments, of course you find lots of small colleges like us doing musicals, but you don't maybe find a whole lot of small colleges doing opera and operetta. So the next year we did a couple of small one-act operas. We did a Menotti. We did a Pergolesi. Then the year after that, we did Dido and Aeneas. And then now here we're 2 years later and we're doing Strauss and Die Fledermaus. So the decision to do this was really a collaboration between myself and Michael Schossberger and his team, both with the thinking that this is kind of up the developmental food chain. We're from Gilbert and Sullivan. Okay, let's go to Purcell, and okay, what's next? And well, okay, let's just bite off this big one. And this material both we felt was both challenging for the students, but also famous enough for the for Santa Barbara opera lovers, and also intriguing enough for those who might not popularize opera, but this would be a great introduction to it. So, a fabulous kind of unwieldy, extensive, expansive comic plot full of 18th and 19th century comic artificiality and comic conventions amidst this amazing, lavish score. And then, but also, underneath it, a bunch of, the little kind of social problems, problems between friends and problems between married couples that, of course, other kind of artists are going to plumb for all sorts of serious issues, and is not necessarily part of the, a serious exploration in this opera, but it's still there, kind of nudging everything and, and kind of being percolating underneath the surface. I say that there are kind of 3 big stories that, in this operetta. There's the big Strauss lavish score, and then that's one great story. And then there's the story of the comic plot and the revenge of Dr. Falk and the trick that Gabriel von Eisenstein played on him 4 years ago that becomes the impetus for this plot of this operetta. And then we've got these kind of more serious questions that are bubbling beneath the surface. And then we've kind of let kind of come out now and then in our show.
So it's as it should very well be. We know that that Fledermaus is performed in New Year's, because of all the splendor and the waltzes and the ballroom scenes. This is going to be more of a farcical approach, with maybe just the tiniest little hints of the undertows of the 1870s and the troubles that people had then, huh?
Yeah, we're trying to highlight the comedy. We're trying to highlight some of the absurdity of it. We're trying to highlight the freshness, the fun, the exuberance. And then when we want to try to touch on something a little bit more serious, well, it'll be a moment of that. And then we're going to move off into something that's a little bit more outrageous and then just let this great score do its work. Yeah. And so we've the kind of the staging of it, as you mentioned, really taking the idea of taking this lavish and expansive thing and trying to condense it, compress it a little bit. All of the music, all of the musical text, all of the score is really intact. I mean, we've cut one small ballet, but otherwise the music is all there. But we have streamlined is the book scenes between the musical numbers, and we've kind of rewritten some of that text and tried to give it a kind of a contemporary charge and allure. And so one of the things I've been telling people is, we've taken this big operetta and we've kind of transformed it into a little chamber opera, which is working. And I think at this jewel of a theater of the New Vic downtown, I think it's going to look great, and I really trust that it's going to sound great as well.
And what is that experience? Because I know this is the first time that Westmont College Theater is using the New Vic. I know you've done other productions in black box environments downtown Santa Barbara and so on. And it is important, don't we agree, even with UCSB, Westmont, for both campuses to come together a little more in downtown Santa Barbara. What has that been like for students to have suddenly this gorgeous, beautiful, fully professional theater?
Well, that's a great question, and everyone is so excited. I mean, we're loading in tomorrow. We have our last dress up here at Westmont. Then we take everything, the whole kit and caboodle, and we bring it down. We have a tech on Wednesday. We have a dress on Thursday, and we invite people come see it on Friday. But the whole team at the New Vic has been incredibly helpful to us. They've really been engaged. I sent an email, months and months ago to Jonathan Fox. What do you think about this? They were open. They were interested. They were engaged. They really welcomed us down there, and the whole team down there, including the production manager, Richard Croy. They have been nothing but helpful and supportive and really involved in trying to provide this opportunity for our students and our audiences, because the New Vic is so well equipped and is so well appointed that it gives our students an opportunity to play in a facility that is really newly renovated and is a jewel of a space. And has some more bells and whistles than what we have at our theater at Westmont. So it's an opportunity for them to show this work in a bit different environment for our students and also for a broader Santa Barbara community that we're really looking forward to.
And also to give these college students a real opportunity to experience the real thing. You know what I mean? To have that staff at ensemble in the wings, so to speak. I presume they're around, they're keeping tabs on everything as the show goes on. But just
exactly
to have that
so.
experience, yeah,
exactly
wonderful. Now, you told me when we chatted a couple of days ago that you're going to have the orchestra on stage. It's the Westmont Orchestra. It's going to be playing all the gorgeous music with Michael Schosberger conducting. How does that work? What are the logistics on that stage? It's a wonderful stage, but still, I presume there are certain limitations. How do you work around that?
Yeah, that's a great question as well. First of all, the orchestra is a condensed orchestra. Yeah, I mean, if we were going to be doing this, in a big pit and with a cast of, dozens and dozens, the orchestra would probably be 50 or 60, and we have 17 in this orchestra. Lovely sound, really full, rich strings and winds sound with percussion. So it's a lovely, um, you know, um, condensed, compact, but really lush sound that the orchestra has. And so in some ways, I don't want to give away all the surprises, but we move the orchestra around. So there is one image that we create for the first act, and then this at the second act, which is in the house of Rosalinda and the apartment of Gabriel von Eisenstein, and then we move to um, the ball of Prince Orlovsky in the second act, and we move the orchestra somewhere else, and then the third act, the jail, we move the
That's
orchestra
great.
somewhere else, so that there's a real that they are part of the visual scene of everything, and they are really part of the ongoing kind of story structure of the show.
And as a guy who, in my youth, spent a whole lot of time in orchestra pits for lots and lots of musicals, what you've just described is going to give these musicians a real experience of theater. They, in some small way, are going to have to be actors as well as musicians.
Exactly,
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
they're part of it.
Garb is 20th century, 21st century modern
The
garb. Yeah.
the yep the clothing is 20th century. A kind of in the first act a kind of heightened leisured elegance, and in the second act a kind of wacky haute couture that comes kind of inspired by the Met Gala and other kind of big fashion extravaganzas.
You've been at Westmont 30
Yeah,
years
this is
in
30 years. Yeah.
2018. What's up next? What have you seen? What do you want to talk about as we end this interview? What's in your head about the future?
Well, we're really frankly our program is thriving. We have more students than ever. We have more majors than ever. We have this really great crossover between music and theater, where we have students who are able to thrive in both areas. And that's another thing that we're really proud as well as of course having majors here, and as well as having students. We have chemistry majors in this show, biology
I love
majors,
that.
communication studies majors, psychology majors. So that's really something that I am also proud of. That the true liberal arts purpose of a college, and we can get people into a high quality artistic experience that where they actually come from studying another discipline.
Yeah, and they will live these moments for the rest of their lives. And in some
Yes,
very
indeed.
important way, maybe they're doing appendectomy surgery. The surgeon will say, oh, this reminds me of. Okay, enough of this. John Blondell, thank you very, very much for giving me
Dan,
some
thank you.
time.
Always a pleasure. Thank you so much for taking
Okay,
the time.
let me just run through a couple little things. Tickets, $17, $12 for students and seniors. The New Vic Theater, 33 West Victoria Street in downtown Santa Barbara. Ensemble Theater box office. Area code 805 for those of you watching in Southern California. Area code 805-965-5400. Die Fledermaus, the Bat, The Revenge of the Bat. Johann Strauss II. Music, acting, crazy plot, wonderful fun. This is going to be great. March 2nd and 4th at 7 p.m. That's Friday and Sunday. March 2nd and 4th, 7 p.m. New Vic Theater in downtown Santa Barbara. John Blondell, thank you very much for your
Thank you,
time.
Dan. Pleasure.
Right
Thank
on.
you.
Bye bye.